Colorado. Good afternoon, everybody listening outside of Colorado. Man, it is a beautiful Monday. I think summer's already here. I think we're not going to have any snow. I'm saying this because a lot of times when I say that, it goes against me. Please send us some snow. Hope everybody's doing well. We have a wonderful interview coming ahead. If you are listening on K4CORadio.com, or the K4CO Radio mobile apps, or through one of the many internet directories that K4CO Radio is on, do know that you can switch over to the K4CO Radio social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, Instagram, and a partridge in a pear tree. Everything is out there, and we're, believe it or not, I know there's gray hair right here, everybody looking. We're going on TikTok soon.
Yay.
So yeah, we're gonna hire some, I don't know, middle schoolers to tell us how it works.
Oh, come on. That's about right. Well, sure.
Sure, exactly.
I mean, yes. Maybe high schoolers, too.
Maybe high schoolers.
I mean, I don't get it, but
Yeah.
no, it's great.
It was funny. I was sitting down with my nieces, and you were there, and they're just like, yeah, you know, certain ones are for old people. And we're like, what's old? 40 plus. We're just like, really? And then there's ones that are 30 plus, 20 plus, and TikTok is the young people.
Well, I get it. I mean, we were all in our teens and preteens at one point, and your world is just different, you know?
It is.
I totally get that.
And there's an absolute new one I've never heard of that we're adding to. So look forward, everybody. We're doing a lot of fun stuff here at K4CO, including this next interview. And I'm sitting here with our Vice President, Sarah Duke. I'm going to let her introduce our wonderful, lovely ladies. And again, go to our social media platforms, look at our beautiful faces, or at least these lovely ladies. Who do we have in the studio today?
I totally echo that sentiment. Definitely. If you are watching on social media, please use the comments, or you can message the app for any questions or comments that you have, because we have some heavy hitters again today, and especially those that live here in Colorado and specifically Centennial or in and around Centennial.
Yep.
If you have questions about the chamber world, if you have questions, any political questions, Centennial questions, please utilize this and ask your questions. That's what it is here for.
Just throw them in the comments of the platform you're using, or if you're listening on the app, there's a message to the station. Our producer, Jacob, will alert us to those, and we'll try to get to them.
Completely.
Yeah.
And happy spring, everyone. It's not quite summer, but I think it is officially spring, and 73 degrees. Here we go.
I think it's been spring or summer this whole winter.
Yes, it has. It's been wonderful. Well, we do have wonderful guests here with us. So we have Heather again joining us from the Chamber World, South Metro Denver Chamber. Thank you for joining us. The Director of Marketing and Communications, and our newest mayor, and we've had you on before, and a dear friend of ours, Mayor of Centennial, Christine Sweetland.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
I love that you're sporting the blue.
That's right, the Centennial Blue.
I knew. I am so glad that I thought of it this morning. I so didn't.
It's like you got the memo.
I did. I think it was channeling the blue.
Right.
I was like, Christina's going to wear blue. Well, we're thrilled to have you both in. This is such an amazing partnership and all of it. And, well, I have to just start because you're so dear, and the newest mayor. You were sworn in January 5th, correct? So we're a little over 2 months.
Right.
So are
Not
you...
Not quite 2 months,
Not
right?
too... Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So are you giddy like a child, or are you already like, I got this?
No, it is like so fun. I'm really enjoying it. And there's just so much, like I was saying earlier that today I was with a bunch of fifth graders. So that's really fun. Earlier this week, or I guess last week, I got to talk with kindergartners. So all these new things that I get to do as mayor that I didn't do while I was on city council. And it really is a lot of fun. There's a lot of more meetings, a lot of things to learn for sure, but I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Nice.
Yes.
So I take it, are these kiddos on the street, or are you going into schools and doing
I'm going into schools, yes.
Okay.
So so the kindergartners asked me to come last week, and I got to read a story to them, so that was really fun. And then today, it was Ford Elementary, that's in Centennial, Dr. Justina Ford Elementary. And so the fifth graders, we took about an hour, and they had some really great questions about how the city operates, things that we should do, so it was really a great hour that I got to spend with them. Yeah, it was fun.
So true. Well, what does that poster say? Everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of truth to that.
Right.
I mean, they have such open minds, and my kiddo's in first grade, and I'm always so blown away by the questions. How do you
Right.
even come up with that?
That's how I learned everything I know now. I mean,
Just an abrupt stop. Second grade, it's just done.
Stopped after that.
Yeah.
Except for TikTok. You didn't learn
except for
TikTok.
that.
Right.
I need to learn that.
But we're
Yeah.
going back to our youngins and asking, how do you do this?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
That is so
Exactly.
fun. What's well, you just mentioned a change, but what has been the biggest kind of aha moment that you weren't expecting?
I guess, let me think. What would that be? It's very busy, right? There's a lot of different meetings that I go to now. And, we're going to talk about regionalism and partnerships and things like that. But really, how many great partners that Centennial has. Our city staff, I've always known, is amazing. But the people that we work with, whether it's the chambers, whether it's, Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office, Mile High Flood District, there's a Metro Mayor's Caucus that I now get to attend. And so what's really fun with that is that you learn from other mayors of, what they're dealing with and what I can bring back to our city. So that makes it really interesting.
And that being said, I've heard that, a lot of these mayors actually routinely get together.
Yes.
So that they can discuss all this, which is a real good partnership with the mayors.
Right.
It's not just, hey, this is my area, that's your area, stay over there. It's a real, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Just partnership,
Right.
I guess.
Yes.
Very collaborative.
Collaborative,
It
that's
is.
what I was looking for.
It is very collaborative. And I just know, like, the people that are on this panel, I've been able to reach out to all of them. They've taken me for coffee or we've had lunch so that I could really understand what the role entails, the pitfalls, right? What to stay away from, what to, lean into and things like that. And also to give myself a little bit of grace, right? That it's okay that I don't know everything right off the bat.
Right.
Even though I've been there for a while, it's very different when you're holding the gavel.
It's a new position, exactly.
Yes. And you're going to find this shocking, I know, but when we have public comment, we don't actually converse with the people that come in for public comment. We just let them do their public comment and then they leave. And my neighbor it does Shakespeare in the Wild, so he came, and then we had some Cub Scouts that came in, and of course then I start talking to them, and the city manager's like, we don't talk after public comment.
That's a great story.
Oh, yeah, I would have problems with that too. Someone would need a bell for me and say, your time is over.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I feel like they're coming into our house, right? And so I want them to feel welcome and things like that. But at the same time, the staff needs to take that on and respond. And so I need to not do that quite so much.
That's a great story, though. Learning to be mayor, yes.
Yes.
Well, talking about collaborative a little bit, so I want to get into the mayor's panel that's coming up. This is kind of presented by the South Metro Denver Chamber. You can go to bestchamber.com, and this is under events. So bestchamber.com, click events, scroll down to March 12th, and you'll see the mayor's panel. Heather, tell us a little bit about this, when it started, everything that's involved.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
The South Metro Denver Chamber has been hosting the mayor's panel for a number of years. I'm honestly not sure how many years back it goes, because the chamber goes back well over 100 years. And we've made it easier to find. It's actually bestchamber.com/mayors. So if you go to that website address, you don't want to take the time to go to the calendar, you can pull it up. But every single year, we try to convene the mayors from the 6 cities in our region. Sometimes we even have mayors come in from other cities that aren't quite in our region. We like to get as many as possible. And again, we typically have a moderator. This year's moderator is Stephanie Fuji. She's the president of Arapahoe Community College. She was also the moderator last year. She does a fantastic job.
Does a great job.
So she will kind of work with the mayors, and because of our limited time, the event is only an hour and a half, she kind of cherry picks questions that the mayors want to answer. What do they want to speak to during this panel event? And then at the time we have a little bit of Q&A so the audience can ask the mayor some questions. So the format has been the same for many years. The event is becoming more and more popular every year. This year we have the biggest attendance so far that we've ever had in terms of registration, and we're still going because I think people are seeing that it's such a valuable time. You know, you don't get that many opportunities to hear directly from 6 mayors in your region in one room and potentially ask them questions.
Right.
So.
For sure. And this event, again, and it is open to members with the chamber, and it's also open to people in the public. So highly recommend that you go and check it out. Again, it's on March 12th. It is going to be at the Lone Tree Arts Center. We're going to be there. I absolutely find it amazing, and it's very informative. So to your point, we're going to have 6 different cities represented. So from Centennial, Lone Tree, Littleton, Inglewood, Greenwood Village, and Castle Pines. And other legislators will be there as well, it sounds like, that will represent different districts. So it's truly, if you live, work, play in Colorado, it's something to definitely check out, especially for, we work in Centennial, we live in Centennial, and it's good to know who your neighbors are and to know what's going on in the political landscape, because things are always changing, and it's good to be at the forefront.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially these free events where you do get all the mayors together to just kind of have a panel. And yeah, again, anybody is welcome, right?
Yeah, and I know we have a lot of South Metro Denver Chamber members who are listeners.
Yeah.
So to the members out there, it is a free event, which is really phenomenal. If you are not a chamber member, it's only $35. So
That's a Chick-fil-A meal. I mean.
exactly right.
It's probably cheaper than a Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
meal.
exactly.
You can't even get a Starbucks coffee for dessert after Chick-fil-A. So yes, it's only $35 to the general public. So yeah, you can go on our website, you can register. Registration is still open. And we're just really excited to be talking to Christine today as Centennial's newest mayor and the newest mayor on the mayor's panel.
Right.
We're just super excited to have her on board this year.
I'm thrilled to be there. And I think really what's so great about this event is just the regionalism that is demonstrated in this, right? That each city has its uniqueness about it. But at the same time, we all come together because if Lone Tree is doing well, then Centennial is going to do well. And if Greenwood Village is doing well, then we're going to benefit from that as well. And I really just appreciate, you know, hearing all of the mayors up there. I've always attended in the past, not as the mayor. So now I'm going to be the one actually speaking. But I just think it's really important for people to see that municipal government works, right? And it works really well. And we work very well together collaboratively, you know, and I think it's especially important for the business community to understand that, right? That, you know, we have a very highly educated workforce in the South Metro Chamber area. And so we have businesses that want to come here and that, you know, regardless of where they do business, they're going to be well respected and accommodated to bring them here.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only does it work, but it's accessible. And especially in a day, you know, right now where I think a lot of people just focus on the huge picture, the federal, look at what's going on in your backyard.
Right.
And I'm going to make sure this is for everybody. I'm going to say this again for our audio listeners, but if you are watching, we're going to be putting this information up there. You can go to centennialco.gov anytime, and it is public knowledge. You can email the mayor of Centennial, C. Sweetland, at centennialco.gov. And again, this is a free event. This is open to anybody who wants to come and get involved. And I think one of the most important things to do is get involved in what's going on in your backyard.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is your home. This is where you live in. Sure, pay attention to the, you know, things going on in the country, but this is the main area.
For sure.
So.
And to make sure. So it's a free event for the members.
Yes.
There is a little charge for those that aren't. Huge plug. No one's setting me up to say this. I feel it wholeheartedly. I love the chamber. I absolutely, they are my friends, my family. I talk to them every single day that are there. And if you want to come to any event, this is a great first one to come to.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to be around legislators and get to know who is in your backyard, who you're working with, who's going to your schools, who's taking care of your streets, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely come. And if you have any questions about the chamber, please reach out as well. We're always here to be a resource for you in any way that we can. So please come join us for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to kind of turn this over to Centennial, because
Okay.
you're the mayor of Centennial here. At the mayor's panel event on March 12th, do you plan to focus on any particular issue? If so, which one? Are you?
Yeah, so we'll obviously get to highlight our cities and Centennial being 25 and the best place to live in Colorado according to U.S. News and World Reports will probably be said that day.
As it should.
Especially in front of my peers.
Yes.
But we're talking a lot about infrastructure because, as you know, Centennial's only 25 years old, but our infrastructure is older than that, right? I mean, we were unincorporated Arapahoe County, so our roads are a little bit older than the city. And so what does that look like? How are we being good financial stewards of the taxpayer dollars? And what does that look like going forward? Because there's a lot of things that we want to get done. And how are we going to make that happen? And
Right.
I always talk to people that if you think about your roads, it's not, it's not fun. It's not sexy. But if we don't fill the pothole, right, then all of a sudden it becomes a financial burden to you, right? Because now you've hit the pothole and now you need a new alignment or you need a tire. So, we want to make sure that when we're talking about affordability also means that we have roads that are in good condition.
Right.
We have roads that, kids can ride safely to school, that we have crosswalks and streetlights and things like that. So, as I was running, that was the main topic that people were talking about. They feel very safe in Centennial. Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office does an amazing job for us. And so it's not like they are worried about being in their house, but what they're worried about is on the roads. And so, I'll be talking a lot about that at the panel.
No, that's
Yes.
wonderful. I'm so glad you brought that up. I think I actually learned this from you last year, that Arapahoe County is older than the city of Centennial. It's so interesting to think about that, we are so young. And
Right.
25 years is
25 years is like
Right.
nothing.
I know,
It's
right?
so- I know.
Unless you're talking to fifth graders and they're like, wow,
Yeah.
really?
Wow,
That's
so
Centennial's
so-
been around forever.
Yeah, so I had to say, how old is the United States? 250. Colorado,
Yes.
150. Well, we're only 25. Yeah.
Yes.
You
They
know.
need to take a trip to Europe, and then it's a whole nother
That's
world.
right.
I like how
Exactly.
it's all divisible though perfectly.
It
Centennial
is.
25, Colorado 150,
Right.
250. It's
It's
perfect.
Yeah, it's a great year for celebration for sure.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I know. Happy birthday, Centennial.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful that you're talking about not only infrastructure, but the roads, because it is a big deal.
Right.
We see them, of course, every day, and traffic is real. We don't call it rush hour, we call it rush day now. Josh and I are both natives, so we have, an influx of people that are
Yeah.
coming in because
Right.
it's so desirable
We
to live.
remember when there was a rush hour.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
We do. But I also really remember three main cities. I remember Fort Collins, Denver, Colorado Springs.
True.
Right.
So,
True.
I mean,
Yes.
that was I-25, just grass as far as you can see, and farmland. So,
Right.
now we have all these beautiful cities popping up.
Which is wonderful, right? And I do want to give a plug for Centennial, but also the Chamber, because the Chamber had their economic forecast breakfast,
Yes.
and you guys were there.
Yep.
And they always do such a great job with that. But they had Rob Cohen, who is the main owner of the Denver Summit, which is the first professional female sports team in Colorado. And so the Denver Summit actually will be training in Centennial, and they will be playing their games in Centennial until Denver builds their permanent stadium. So, and I thought at the economic forecast breakfast that Rob Cohen did such a great job of talking about that public-private partnership and how important that is. And I think what you're going to hear on that mayor's panel is that happens a lot in our communities, that we're known for working, with other municipalities, with the business community, because and I just saw an article that Lone Tree is always trying to get to yes. And I think you're going to find that with most of these cities is like, we want to get to yes, right? We know that we want a thriving city, and what does that look like?
Right.
So, and it was such a great breakfast. And I know that the mayor's panel is just going to, be part of that as well, right? The continuing conversation about that. Yeah.
And that is another good plug for South Metro Denver Chamber, because, we had the economic forecast breakfast. We have the mayor's panel. Heather, I mean, why is the South Metro Denver Chamber so involved in the legislative side?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. It goes back to the Chamber's 3 pillars. And one of those pillars is legislative advocacy and public policy. And a lot of the larger chambers do that, so it's not uncommon. It's not like we're unusual in that regard. But I think what the South Metro Denver Chamber does really well is stay on top of legislation that is in play every session, every year. Cherry pick the pieces of legislation that they choose to get involved in and take a stance on. Make it publicly known. So I think that these events, the mayor's panel is one. Of course, this is more regional leadership. But the legislative breakfast, legislative kickoff, economic development events that we do, it all ties back to wanting to influence a pro-business environment for the entire region. I mean, that's at the heart of why we do that, is to influence what we can to help each of our cities thrive and create a pro-commerce environment as much as possible.
Right.
Well, I'm so grateful for it as well. Truly, to have a chamber that is such a strong focus.
Yeah.
It is. I think the educational piece is so important just across the board. It is to know about schools and businesses, and there's so much to offer with the chamber. I mean, legislative action is a big piece of it, yes. But the ribbon cuttings, I mean, that's a great place to get out and get to know who are the new businesses popping up in Centennial.
Come to ribbon cuttings of our Centennial businesses.
Yes,
Right.
right. Exactly.
Exactly,
Yes. Well, and we're thrilled whenever the South Metro Chamber asks us to be at a ribbon cutting, and I think we're kind of known for always showing up at those events because we know how important it is for our community, and we're grateful for the chamber to let us know who these new businesses are that are coming into our city. And, helping them be successful. And, we talk a lot about community, but the chamber is that community, right? Where it's a business community of helping each other to succeed. And they do that so well. And as the city of Centennial, we benefit from that.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it's so true that you all really show up. We were at an event last week and you both were there at Uncorked Kitchen. I mean, it's so wonderful to have people that own and operate on truly any level that show up and support.
Right.
I find in some instances it's, well, we're going to talk about it, but not actually do it. Both on the chamber side and the city of Centennial show up and actually do their work.
And it's wonderful that we have that collaboration with the city of Centennial because, we know that we can count on Centennial to show up at these events. That's not true of all the cities. It is to greater or lesser degrees, but Centennial is that you understand the value of showing up for the business because that's part of what signals to businesses Centennial is a great place to locate your business.
Yes.
Right.
And you actually care.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
a really big thing. Like we as civilians, and we're saying, well, we live here, we work here. Can we come and talk to you? And we've gotten the pleasure to know you for a few years, and you're so approachable. Many mayors are in the South Metro area, but it is wonderful to just get to know you,
Right.
and have that relationship built is very vital and important.
Well, and for me personally, the mayor is not a full-time job. And so I own my own business. So me personally, I'm also a chamber member because I see the value of that and going to the events, not just wearing my mayor badge or my city council member badge, but also to promote my business. And I see the value in that. So I always, whenever somebody opens a business in Centennial, I always try to say, thank you for choosing us, right? You could have chosen a lot of different places, but you chose to be here, and we're grateful that you chose us. So thank you for that. Yeah.
And there's a really good reason. I mean, Centennial, it's very long.
Yes.
Very narrow.
Yes.
But just under 8,000 licensed or registered businesses, about 107,000 residents, correct?
Yes.
About that. And business you really prioritize the small business, especially Colorado. I mean, it's 98% small business.
Right.
So, it's the backbone of who we are.
Right.
Right here.
Well, and the thing is that Centennial, we run very lean. So we have 107,000 employees, but we only, or I'm sorry, citizens, residents, but we only have 90 employees. So to accomplish a lot of things, because we partner with different places like Arapahoe County Sheriff's, the Jacobs to do our public works, or the chamber, so that we know that we have two great economic development people, Neil and Victoria or Veronica, but got that. I knew I was going to do that.
Oh, good.
But the thing is that they can't be everywhere to everybody, and this is where it's really important to have that good partnership with the chamber, to know that the chamber is going to do the things that maybe we always can't be there for our businesses. Yeah. So we're grateful for that.
And it's funny because my high school I went to, we were part of the largest class in history. We had 94 people. I couldn't do anything without everybody knowing.
94 people.
Yeah.
94 people.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, we were the biggest class. And I couldn't do anything without the whole school knowing.
Right.
So probably the same thing. Everybody knows what's going on.
Right. Exactly. And because we're a newer city, we're not, we've always done it this way. We're not tied to that. So we're very innovative. It's in our motto, right? We're a connected city. We're innovative. We support our businesses. And so that the staff that works for the city of Centennial, that's what they bring in every single day. How can I make our city better? What can I do for the residents, for the businesses, to make our city a more vibrant city going forward?
Yes. Right. I'm so glad you brought up Veronica. I absolutely adore her.
Yeah.
She is so, there's so many things I could say about her.
Yeah.
I love her excitement. She has started to really glow as a human working for Centennial.
Yeah.
We knew her
Even
before
more so.
Centennial.
Right.
And
I
she
love
started
the Clue
glowing.
Room, and
Right.
she's just
Yes.
so in her element.
Right.
And again, a nod to Centennial to have the Spark program,
Right.
which is an amazing benefit to business owners. For those of you that don't know the Spark program, I believe it's actually closed now, but
I
you
think
can
it's
still participate and come and view all these wonderful business owners. But it's another great way of an event that people can participate in Centennial and highlight different businesses and residents through that as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, and, we have a fairly new council, and I will say, there's a few of them that are very excited about actually going door to door, talking to the businesses in Centennial. So Veronica actually put together a flyer with all of the business resources and things like that. And it's Darrell Middleton, who's a council member in District 4, who his company is also a chamber member, right? So we understand the benefit of being a chamber member, and we understand the benefit of successful businesses. And so whatever we can do to help foster that, we're going to go out and do that with our...
I have to say, I have to give a nod to us, too. We interviewed Christine, Veronica, and Darrell, I believe all within the same week. And I'm noticing a pattern with them all kind of getting elected.
Yeah, see?
Just
there
saying,
you go.
not
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
Put a little feather in your
Yes.
This is, it's all about this interview right here.
Of course. No, thank you to our viewership.
Exactly. And we love doing it because we love having just real conversations.
Right.
I mean, a lot of interviews out there in different platforms are not that. And we just love doing that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so you mentioned infrastructure. Okay. You recently ran and won Mayor of Centennial.
Yes.
Outside of infrastructure, what are some other issues, like the top 2-3 issues that you kind of ran on that you're looking at in Centennial?
Right. So housing, right? Centennial is a community of neighborhoods. We need more neighborhoods. We've got a great redevelopment opportunity along Yosemite from Arapahoe Road all the way to IKEA, this side of the highway, on the other side as well. That's what we call our Midtown Centennial. We're seeing a lot of really great engagement in that area where people want to start redeveloping that. And you'll see they're like older office buildings, a lot are empty. And so it's a great opportunity for some redevelopment in that area. So we're talking about that. Obviously, the Denver Summit coming to Centennial gives us another opportunity for development in that area, in the Dove Valley area. So very excited about that. Infrastructure. And then, we also need to look at financial sustainability, right? So we're 25 years old. What do we want to look like in the next 25 years? Centennial doesn't take any debt. We save our money until we can afford to pay for a project, which then, as you, the taxpayers, because you're both taxpayers in Centennial, and that, your money actually earns interest until we can actually do the project. But how does that look like going forward? So we're having some of those conversations as well. So those are the big things. But celebrating 25 years, the splash pad is opening. Like those are also the fun things as well. So
I want to say thank you to that because it's amazing. A balanced budget.
I know. I'm like, I wanted all of us were like, we're like, what?
You're not in debt?
Yeah,
we have true. Like, really?
Centennial has
That's amazing.
right. Yeah. So Centennial was founded that they wanted to partner with different organizations. They did not want to take any debt, which is great. But then when we had the Arapahoe Road Bridge project, that was a 75-year-old bridge. It took us 10 years in order to save for that money.
Right.
So when you're looking at our budget, you're seeing that we do have reserves because we have projects that we're going to be planning on doing, but we're eating into our reserves more and more. And so we just need to make sure that, we're really being fiscally responsible for our citizens because, the work that they want to get done, the services that they expect, and how do we manage that?
Well, I had no idea that's amazing to me.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
I'm a little floored.
Right.
I might want to throw that out at the mayor's.
We don't
have any debt.
Lead with that. We're 25 years old and we have no debt. Right? All you need to say is right? That is amazing to me.
And I will say, every municipality, we have to have a balanced budget, right? And there are things that we have to get done for our citizens. Right. And so people look at that in different aspects, right? So Littleton being 100 and some odd years old, they're managing to what they've had to do over the years. Being new, we saw what other cities were doing and we learned and figured out best practices from that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you've mentioned a couple partners. And now that the cat's out of the bag that we're not in debt.
Yes.
I'm floored. I can't wait. I'm going to be posting about that all the time.
We're still like, wow.
I know. Are there other entities? Are these personal donations? Are these more kind of corporations that are stepping up as kind of a sponsorship? I'm probably not using that correctly, but that are helping fund?
No, so this is all through tax dollars.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you think about of the 90 employees that we have at the City of Centennial, we don't have any police officers, right? We pay the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office to be our police service. Right. So it saves us money because, economies of scale, right? So we're not buying cars and radios and having to have 24-hour a day. We obviously have patrol 24 hours a day, but there's things that the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office does. The bomb squad, we don't have to do that in Centennial. So it is your tax dollars. That's one of the biggest buckets that we have is to the contract with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. The other thing is public works, and we talk that there's no snow, and at some point we should have snow, right? So we're saving money, not having to plow the roads. So we have a contract with Jacobs. That's another one of our largest contracts that we have, a biggest portion of our budget. And so with Jacobs, then they're the ones that manage the employees, the hours that the employees work. So if they need people, on snowplows, they manage that. It's not city employees that are sitting there and we're trying to find something else for them to do. So once again, economies of scale. They're also when we're doing street pavement in the spring and fall or spring and summer, it's the Jacobs employees that are doing that. They're not actually, but you would never know that. What I love about this model is that they feel very connected to Centennial. So they see themselves as being part of the city. Even though their paycheck is from Jacobs, they understand that they're working on behalf of the city to make our city great. And so, when you're out on the street and you're going to see somebody, filling a pothole, you're not going to know if that's a Centennial employee or not. They just are filling the pothole.
Well,
Yeah.
in my mind, I like that because it's, instead of government employees to hire to do this stuff, you hire your own small businesses in
Right.
your city.
And it seems
Right.
like that's what Centennial, that's one of the things they learned from looking at older municipalities is that it makes more sense to outsource many of these things
Right.
instead of funding them directly.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. And it's interesting because since I've been on council, we used to outsource building services. And then we looked at it and we figured out that we could actually bring it in-house and we could do some of these things, our permitting a little bit faster using technology to do our permitting faster. And so we actually brought that in-house. So we're doing the contract model, but then sometimes we look at it and go, okay, does this still make sense?
Right.
And so building services was one of those where it's like, actually, it makes more sense. We have more control over the customer service piece, right? People can actually come into our office and talk to one of the Centennial employees about their building permit. And everything's online. You can do everything online, but sometimes you just want to talk to somebody or come in face to face. And so we do that. Yeah. Yeah.
This is amazing. You hit on a lot of good points. It's to be flexible and
Right.
to sometimes look at an older model and just say, is this actually still working? Or can we shift a little bit? I think sometimes just in any atmosphere, right? Any business relationship, etc. Sometimes we get stuck. It's like, let's just have some fresh eyes and take a new
Right.
approach to it.
Right.
Man, come live in Centennial. We're debt free.
Yeah.
That should be the slogan of the entire.
It's so weird.
I know. I am still so floored. I can't get over it. Sorry. Yeah, Heather and I think just had a
I
moment
know.
of.
I was like, wow. And I was like, well, they are 25 years old, so that makes sense. You're a little
Right.
newer.
I was in TED at 25 years old, though.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
Centennial is managing itself well.
Exactly.
we're very, and this is from the mayors that have come before me that, fiscal responsibility has been very important to the residents of Centennial to form the city and has been one of, like you were talking about, the pillars of the chamber is one of the pillars of Centennial is that, people really appreciate the fact that we are so fiscally responsible with their tax dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people actually ask me how to get either more information on government because they are looking at maybe getting into city council or et cetera. I mean, you were in city council for 6 years, correct?
Yes.
And what is the term for mayor? In
It's
Centennial?
4 years, and I
Okay.
can do 2 4-year terms.
Okay. Sounds
Yes.
good.
So the 6 doesn't count towards the mayor.
Okay.
Yes.
How do people get more information? I know online is a great way. Of course, coming to the mayor's panel on the 12th of this month
Right.
would be fabulous.
Right.
What other avenues can they have as resources?
So, so the municipal elections, well, every city has different municipal elections. In Centennial, the municipal elections are the odd year elections. So it was last year, it's going to be next year. And then what the city of Centennial does is we have a whole candidate packet on our website during election season so that people can go and really understand what is involved. And one of the things that I said when I got sworn in, and one of the things that I personally love about municipal government, you kind of talked about federal government when we started, but what I love about municipal government is that there are no aisles that we cross.
Right.
We come with
Yes.
different perspectives, we come with different life experiences, but we sit shoulder to shoulder and we make the best decisions for the city of Centennial. And that is why I love municipal government.
That's why it works.
It does. I
Right.
know. We have
Yeah.
taken the same stance. We're saying we are bipartisan. We want to know the person.
Right.
We don't care which side of the aisle
Right.
you are. Can you communicate effectively? Can you be responsible and respectful of your peers
Right.
and other businesses, etc.? It's
Because the best policy, like when you're sitting shoulder to shoulder to people and you're making policy decisions, it doesn't matter. Like we run, there's no RD next to our names, right? We're nonpartisan races, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's what's your perspective? How do
Right.
you see this? How do you see this as somebody who's retired that has been in industry for 40 years? How do you see this as a mom of 3 kids that are in elementary and middle school? And everybody comes to that with different perspectives, and the more we listen to each other, then the better the policy is going to be.
Right.
And this is what we have to do at the municipal level.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And so I'm just curious, what was it for you that because I'm always curious about mayors and city council people because they usually have another full-time job,
Right.
that's completely unrelated to being mayor. So, what was it about, that type of public service or working for a municipality that got you involved originally in city
Right.
council?
So I have always been very active in my community as a volunteer. So, and I was telling the fifth graders, like I volunteered at my kids' school and the library and at field day and, with their sports teams and all of that. And then when they got older and they didn't want me to volunteer in the school, then I volunteered in my neighborhood. So for me, it's always been about what can I do to make my community just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so after I did the neighborhood, and no offense, but as women, we need to be pushed sometimes. And so somebody actually came to me and said, I think you should look at running for city council. And I don't think that if that conversation hadn't have happened, I don't think I would have done it because I didn't know anything, right?
Yeah.
But they just knew that I've always been part of the community. And so that to me, city council is just a bigger portion of who you're representing.
Yeah.
And then with the mayor, it's the same thing, right? Like what can we do to make our little corner of the world better? And it's the day-to-day. Are the potholes getting filled? Or is the snow getting plowed? But it's also, what does this look like in 20 years? And is this going to be a vibrant city for my kids to come back to?
Right.
And I want to have a part in that decision making.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it will be a vibrant city as long as you do what you guys are doing, which is working side by side.
Right.
There is no aisle, as
Right.
you said.
Right.
I mean, I hold views that are held on both sides of the aisle because I grew up in a time where we talked about issues, not sides. It's, so working with people so closely, that's in my mind success.
Yes,
right
for these young kids that are listening, we used to have news for 1 hour a night.
Just like rush hour.
Right.
6 to 7, and we had bunny ears on our TV, right?
And they
3
gave you
channels.
facts instead of biased
Yep.
analysis,
Yes,
Right.
which is
the
what you get
pothole
today.
was fixed
Right.
on
Yep.
Arapahoe
Yes.
The government
Road,
actually said you have 1 hour,
Yes.
every night.
That's right.
know?
Give them the facts,
Yeah.
just the facts.
Exactly.
Now it's 24/7. What are we going to fill on this?
I know, straight
Our
opinions.
opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, I love that question. It's so true.
Well, I'm just curious, and
Yeah.
it's so great
Yeah.
to know that you just always been a community advocate and have been involved in your community, and that just has transformed into ultimately becoming mayor.
Right.
That's great.
Well, and I think, when I was running for mayor, being a small business owner, starting my own business, that really mattered to people that, that I was able to take a risk. I'm a real estate appraiser, so I understand the housing needs that are happening. I can talk to that more so than what other people can. So I think that helped as well. But yeah, and, my husband has been coaching soccer for the last 20 years. So I also got a couple votes when they're like, is Coach Andy your husband? Yeah. Oh, then I'll vote for you because he was my son's favorite soccer coach.
Oh, that's
so,
great.
Right? Like, people help their community in different ways, whether it's coaching soccer, whether it's serving on city council, whether it's just shoveling your neighbor's sidewalk, right? Like, we just need to get back to what can I do to help my community just a little bit more?
I totally agree.
That's a reason why I just wanted to dump snow like 2-3 feet. Because my favorite thing is when the city shuts down.
Yeah.
Everybody comes outside.
Right.
You talk with your neighbors.
Exactly.
You're all, this is insane. And shovel. And, hey, everything's closed. Just, have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And as long as the power's still on.
Yeah, as long as the power's still on.
That's right.
Exactly.
And the snowplows don't cost too much money.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then you get candles and blankets and you snuggle.
Right.
You
Yes.
know it.
And do puzzles.
No snuggle
Do
days
puzzles.
this winter. We've not had one snuggle day.
I know.
No.
I know.
We need them, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You brought up some lovely points. And again, for those that just tuned in, come to the mayor's panel. This is on March 12th at the Lone Tree Arts Center. A nod to, of course, Centennial, Lone Tree, Littleton, Inglewood, Greenwood Village, and Castle Pines. You can go to bestchamber.com for more information, and it is free tickets for members of the South Metro Denver Chamber, $35 for the public. Highly recommend that you come to more events with the Chamber. If you have any questions, you can ask any of us, especially, of course, Mayor Christine Sweetland. One day I'm going to get used to saying that. Mayor Sweetland. Of course, if you have questions about Centennial itself, and the beautiful Heather, if you have any questions about the chamber itself. And I love what you said, and I agree. I talk about women a lot because I'm all about empowering women. I always wink, and empowering men. But it's so true that sometimes you need an outside person to say, we see you going in this direction.
Right.
And then it opens this whole new world of going, I think I would do a really good job with this.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we're grateful to whoever it was that
Yes.
encouraged you to run for city council.
Yes. And so many of the mayors do have another, full-time job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
A nod to Mayor Harmon of Lone Tree. She's also owns her own small
Yes.
business.
Yeah, she's a small
The
business
mayor of
owner.
Inglewood, it's the same. And it's just everyone is out there doing what they're saying they're doing.
Right.
They're residents. They have a family. They are doing all the things.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
huge thank you to, just knowing you. It's been a total pleasure.
That's so
You're a dear-
sweet of you to say.
Well, it's so true. You've been a dear friend of mine for a few years, and it's been lovely to get to know you.
Well, thank you.
And so,
And and that's the nice thing about the panel, because it's the afternoon this year. We're all going to stay around after. So, even if you didn't have a chance to get your question asked to the whole panel, there'll be a time to just come up to us. Like, I'll talk to anybody, and so that's what's going to be really fun about this panel as well.
And we know all the mayors in this region they're friendly and they're accessible. And so it's a great point. That's why this event is so valuable, because the people who show up will get direct access, and the mayors will be around for a little bit. So come on over and come meet Christine if you want to meet Christine.
Yes, come say hi.
and that will still be at the Lone Tree Arts Center, the networking. Okay.
Yes,
Very
it'll
good.
all be at the
After-
Lone Tree Arts Center. The event takes place in their theater, so it's a large theater. So it's theater seating, and but afterwards, people can kind of mix and mingle and come up to the front stage where the mayors are hanging out.
Right.
So.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You actually call it a networking happy hour at the and I love the Lone Tree Arts Center. I mean, for those that don't know, Lincoln in Yosemite, kind of tucked back there by the Target, and wonderful.
It's beautiful.
It
It's
is
a
really
beautiful
beautiful.
venue. Yeah, there will be a happy hour afterwards, so you don't have to stay. But if you want to stay and network, we're well over 200 people right now, so we'll probably be close to 300. So also, just again, if you're into networking, it's going to be a fantastic crowd of people. So you can not only meet the 6 fabulous mayors that are going to be there, but just hundreds of other mostly chamber members,
Right.
and lucky public guests who sign up for the event.
Right.
Completely.
And all the mayors, especially this one, the wonderful Christine Sweetland. And you can email her, csweetland@centennialco.gov, or just come to the event and shake her hand and ask whatever you want.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have one more question for
Okay.
you, Christine. I know you've been in just shy of 2 months.
Yes.
Yes. With that being said, and I know you have some time still to mull this question over, but maybe you thought about it while you were running to say, if and when I got elected, what will be your quote unquote legacy that you want to leave the mark on during your term as mayor?
Wow,
Fabulous question.
right. I know.
I know, it's like I'm good.
She
at
might
my
have to come
job.
back for another interview.
I
to
know,
flesh that one
right?
out.
That might change every year, too.
Right.
I mean,
I think
I know.
so.
And
So
she's
we
pushing.
have. So how municipal government works is that the mayor, like in Centennial, the mayor has equal vote. In Lone Tree, the mayor has equal vote. I think Littleton, but some mayors don't get to vote. But if whatever my idea is, if I can't get 4 other people to agree with me, it goes nowhere, right? This is where different perspectives coming together. So we have to be collaborative, and it's a democracy. And since there's 9 of us, as long as 5 people agree, we move forward with it. So we're having our strategic planning in April, where we're, there's a lot of new people on city council. So we're really going to talk about what that looks like. But for me, I really want to see micromobility. And I always hear about how long Centennial is. And I'm like, well, then, Lone Tree has micromobility, and they're just added Highlands Ranch. So, we can figure this out. So that's important to me. I'd like to see us have a sustainability plan that we really don't have right now. And Centennial is known for our parks and trails. So when I talk about that we need more neighborhoods, we also need to make sure that it includes parks and trails in that system so that we're just not building just to build, but it really is cohesive to the rest of our city. So so for me, that's the other bit. So, I don't know what that looks like, in 4 or 8 years from now. But those are like the things that are kind of
bubbling up. That's a great answer. Good for you. I knew that you had put thought into this. I was like, I know that you're dreaming. What is this?
Right. And it
going to
changes, and then I add this, and then
course.
I add that. I want to look at, we need, a pathway to home ownership, those types of things. I want to make sure that have good economic centers employment centers for people to work, right? So those are all things. Yeah.
No, that's a wonderful answer. And I'm sure, especially with, it sounds like fresher people on city council.
Right.
So that might need to pivot or change and see what comes up, because you never know what tomorrow will bring.
Right. Exactly. And that's the fun part of it, right? Is that you look at the long term, you look at the day to day, and, you don't even realize when you're going through the day to day how that's going to impact, what it looks like 10 years from now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Thank you both. Is there anything else either on the chamber side or City of Centennial that we want to make sure that we mention?
No, just, from the chamber, thank you to Christine for being part of the mayor's panel. We're thrilled that she's going to be there for the first time, so we're excited. Again, it's March 12th. It's a Thursday. You can sign up at bestchamber.com/mayors with an S on it, or go to our website, find our event calendar, and go to March 12th. Sign up there. So Christine, thank you for being, as you know, the chamber is just, Centennial is one of the core cities in our region. And at one point it was called the Centennial Chamber.
Right.
So it's merged over the years. So Centennial really is near and dear to the chamber's heart. So we are just thrilled with the collaborative partnership that we have.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to plug something else outside of the chamber. The Centennial Rotary hosts my State of the City. So it'll be my very first State of the City. And the money goes to help the Centennial Rotary. And that is on April 30th. And that will be at Wings Over the Rockies. I know the chamber always has a table there. Hopefully, I think you guys are planning on being there as well.
We will be there with, yes.
Yes.
Bells
So
and
it's my
whistles.
first one.
Yes.
So I'm nervous.
You'll be great. Just do what you did here.
What date is that again?
It is April 30th. It is a Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. So the joke at my house is that my husband goes to 3 events a year, and he's already up to 3. He might be at 5. So, and I'm like, and by the way, you have to come to my first State of the City.
Well, now that you're the mayor, I think his event quota has to at least double.
It's
not triple.
Right. Yes.
And can people purchase tickets? How
Yeah,
do they
so
get
the
information?
Rotary is the one that sells the tickets. So contact the Centennial Rotary. And like I said, they do wonderful work in our community.
Yes.
They focus a lot on kids and getting kids backpacks and books and things like that. They do a whole shopping at the holidays. They take a bunch of kids and go to Kohl's, and they get to get a basket full of gifts they do amazing work. And so, so I'm saying that to help them, but also it'll be April 30th to hear what I have to say about the City of
That is
Centennial.
a huge
Fantastic.
deal. I am
Yeah.
so glad that you mentioned that.
Yes.
We will definitely be there April 30th. I know we were already texting you next week when we were at the event saying you have to be. Of course we're going to be there.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you mentioned Centennial Rotary. They are incredibly involved in the community.
Yes.
On a nonprofit world, they were involved and showed up as volunteers at ARTMA with Morgan Adams Foundation
nice.
this past weekend.
Oh,
They're
wonderful.
at every event through Centennial, Sippin' Centennial. It's like
Right.
they're just everywhere. And
Yes.
truly they are, it's so amazing. You just say, I need you, and they show up.
Right.
So it truly is. We're so grateful to have great Rotarians here
Yes.
in the city as well.
And I think they might be chamber members, right?
I would have to check our
I
membership.
don't. Yeah, I know you can't.
But
you don't know the
I know they are.
thousands.
I don't
of-
know all,
Yes.
700 members, but we do support them because, again, they're a nice compliment. I mean, we really focus on business, right? And they're more community focused
Right.
Right.
with the work that they do. So it's, we love organizations like that because it's kind of like we're taking care of business and they're taking care of the people,
Right.
the residents. So
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely a lot of Rotarians are members of the chamber for
Yes.
sure.
yes, many
Yes.
Rotarians are members. Yes.
Yes, very true. So, yay. Okay, April 30th, put that on your calendar. Reach out
Right.
to Centennial Rotary. And of course, March 12th for the mayor's panel. You're going to have 6 different mayors be there from the South Metro Denver area and people that are in the legislative world from all over the state. So, definitely get to know what the businesses are in your neighborhood, get to know what the schools are doing. There's a lot of wonderful things going on in Centennial. So, please come educate yourself. You can go to bestchamber.com to purchase those tickets, or if you are a member, they are free. Highly recommend becoming a member. It's so amazing. Next to ribbon cuttings, events every week, they are truly, it is like family, 100%, and you always feel so welcome around the chamber members. And I can't speak highly enough of it.
And if you do go, definitely stick around afterwards because the mayors will stick around afterwards. You can shake their hands and ask them any questions that you want. Did want to give a sec to throw out the sponsors. You had Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care, Arapahoe County STEM School in Highlands Ranch, First Bank, Salem Media Group, iHeartMedia, Pink Poppy, and of course K4CO Radio.
Yes.
Yay.
So yeah, check it out, everybody. It'd be absolutely wonderful to go. Mayor's panel March 12th. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We look forward to many wonderful years of you at the head of Centennial. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Everybody, if you did just kind of catch a part of this, it is going to be on the K4CO radio social media platforms for at least a month. So always feel free to go back and look it over. And if you do have any comments or any questions or anything like that, email Christine Sweetland, csweetland at centennialco.gov. You can also go to bestchamber.com for any information on the South Metro Denver Chamber. Stay tuned every single day, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 1 solid hour of only Colorado musicians in the K4CO radio rotation. And of course, it's Monday night, so we start again, 9 p.m., Kind of Vague Radio with Andrew Talent and Rob Dixon. Thank you very much for listening in, watching in, and thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Take care, everybody.